Well, one thing that they were hiding is the FBI is working with Interpol. When you get ran through NICS, it runs you through a bunch of different databases, 4 different databases, like NC, IC, and a bunch of other databases, the III, and it spits back a result. One of the databases it checks is the Foreign Fugitive File, the FFF, which looks for fugitives from Interpol. Interpol is like an international law enforcement agency. Well, some Interpol countries have laws that are protected here. So you can be guilty of a crime in another country, and the United States doesn't consider that a crime because of our constitutional protections. So being on the FFF does not disqualify you from buying a gun. So what the FBI does, if they get a hit on the FFF, it raises a red flag. You're still allowed to purchase a firearm and you leave the FFL. The FBI employee will then call the FFL and get your address and also personal information. What they do with this is they pass it on to Interpol. Not really sure what Interpol does with it, if they use it to monitor or if they try to like kidnap you. I have no freaking clue. But the FBI is passing information of people buying firearms to a foreign law enforcement agency. For a long time, we've been told that NICS is just to verify that you're eligible to buy a firearm. Well, this kind of disputes that in a huge way. So that is one thing that is definitely something we have to keep an eye on. In a earlier MLN report, we reported that disqualification for drug use is down. And we theorized that maybe because more states are decriminalizing pot, that there's less arrests, therefore there's less people disqualified. Well, this document also gives us another look into what may be going on. Unknown before we got this document is that states can also request to have NICS prohibiting, firearms prohibiting crimes removed from the NICS database. So let's say that you got busted for selling weed and that's no longer a crime. But it is also something that makes you a prohibited person. A state can go into NICS and remove that conviction from NICS, therefore making you eligible to buy a firearm. So now you're no longer a prohibited person, you're eligible to buy a firearm. That was something that was fascinating to me because I had no idea. And I don't think anyone really had any idea about that. There's also a long gun purchase program. Now get this, right? So you can go to another state and buy a long gun. You go through a NICS check, you take it back home to your home state. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But do you know that there is a program built into NICS that NICS will call your home state and let them know that you purchased a long gun? I never knew that. I always thought that the FFL reports the sale of the gun to NICS. I never thought NICS reports the sale of a gun to a state. This is very interesting and very confusing. That's not even known, which is, something that we really need to know. Gun buyers need to know who is tracking them. And this is another example of why I don't like background checks, because background checks are never just used for backgrounds. They're used for other things. And the final thing is that states' rules and regulations, when it comes to NICS, actually supersede federal regulations and laws if they are more strict. What do I mean by that? Let's say you live in California and you commit a crime in California that prohibits you from owning a firearm in California, but doesn't raise to a crime that would prevent you from buying a firearm federally. California's rules override federal rules. So if you go to Arizona, you're not going to be able to buy a gun, even though that the crime in Arizona it does not raise to the level that would disqualify you from buying a firearm. But since California can enter their information to NICS, and according to the NICS user guide, their information supersedes federal law, that means that you cannot buy a firearm in Arizona, which is really crazy because we're always told that a state cannot issue like a law that's less restrictive than the federal law. But it looks like they can definitely violate your rights by issuing a law that is more restrictive. There's something to be aware of. All in all, it's an interesting document. I'm going to be linking it below. My article should be out by the time you see this video, which will be linked below as well. So go ahead, give it a read. Look through the document. There's probably some other juicy information in there that I didn't get to. All right. If you can do me a really, really big favor, like an incredible favor, I'm not going to pitch anything else or anything else like that, but if you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give this video a big thumbs up so I can keep on doing this stuff, because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm, I would definitely appreciate it. You can also turn on notifications. All right, my name is John Crump. Stay ever vigilant, stay ever free, keep in the fight. I'm out. Peace.